The second last thing I would definitely advise is choose a mentor or model that you see working for other people. So I would follow various people like Pat Flynn in terms of passive income. I would listen to the guys in Internet Business Mastery and various other ones on webinars and everything else. You just need to be mindful of information overload and so on, but you're really getting expertise from the experts who are leading the way and trying things out and can afford to make a mistake and then tell us where they made the mistake and why we shouldn't do it that way so that we can avoid wasting time on it. So I would suggest you choose a person and model that it's successful and model your strategy on theirs. I'm not saying plagiarize, copy, steal, anything like that, but it's good to have, well, it's good to have a mentor in life anyway. And this is just an extension of that, where you can go, you know, what would Pat do in this scenario, or what's Pat been up to, or what's been working for him, and so on, so that you can learn from people. It's not that you can't be obviously creative yourself, it is harnessing creativity after all. So it's just good to have a model to refer to. You can also check udemy.com for any similar courses that might exist out there, assess the quality of the course, assess the length of their course, their delivery method. Is it all screencast tutorials? Is it PowerPoint? Is it a combination? And also have a look at the price. So one thing I'd add there as well is, you know, people say if the course isn't on Udemy, there mustn't be a market. And I don't necessarily agree. I think sometimes just nobody has done it yet. Okay? There is only one course on Udemy that I could find on how to make artisan brown bread. But she sold hundreds and hundreds of copies at $45 a pop. So had she gone on and looked at Udemy and said, there isn't one, I'm not going to create one, she would have lost out on thousands and thousands of dollars of creating an online course. So, you know, good market research would tell us if it doesn't exist, there isn't a market for it. Twitter wouldn't have started if that was the case, and various other things. So I wouldn't let it be the deciding factor. Maybe you can lead the way in being the first course on yoga for people with OCD, or yoga for people that work in an office, or whatever it might be, yoga for 40-year-old males, or whatever it might be. So remember, a niche online is huge. And the last thing before we get into the practical, big sigh of relief, is stay informed. So subscribe to 3 blogs. I put a number on it because if I'd say to subscribe to a few, it's a bit subjective and woolly, and does he mean 1 or 10? I would say start with 3, even keep it at 3. So there are plenty of great resources out there on online course creation, on blogging, on, you know, all of the 20 steps. I mean, any of the 20 steps could be a course in itself. So there's plenty of blogs out there to subscribe to, listen to up to, or maybe at least 3 podcasts. So again, podcasts are what I call seminar in a car. You can basically buy a gizmo. I'll go over and get the gizmo. So this plugs into your smartphone and into your cigarette charger in the car and tunes into your radio. I think it's about 40 euros in Halfords. It's also a USB connection, so it's also can be used as a charger, and basically it plays your music, audiobooks and podcasts through the car stereo. And the previous one that I gave to James, because it would only fit an iPhone 4, this one will be compatible so long as they don't change what is a standard 1/4-inch jack, I think, or 25mm. So it'll work with any smartphone. The point is that, you know, between a drive to Dublin, and I'm not suggesting you'd have to listen to something the whole way up there, but you could have half a book complete on the drive. And the podcasts, of course, are free, and they come out. Well, Pat Flynn has one every day called Ask Pat, and it's only a couple of minutes. Somebody asks a question and he answers it. His other one is out weekly, I think, and it's just either his insights into what he's learned, or also interviews with people who are just really experts in, for example, John Lee Dumas on webinars. And within 30 minutes, you get all the do's and don'ts from the leading experts in particular areas that we've covered. So I would say stay informed, listen to podcasts. The information and the market is changing quite a lot. Get to know, if you can, 3 online course creators personally. So James and I would bounce stuff off each other and other people. There's just a lot to it, as you can see. So rather than be overwhelmed, surround yourself with a few people, get to know the people that are here today, and just stay in touch, even if it's by email or meet every now and again and go, I tried a webinar and it was just the audio didn't come out. And James might say, well, did you do this, that, the other, or I can lend you a better mic, which he has done for me in the past. And, we can share resources, we can share war stories and things that went wrong. We can share each other's email lists with permission from the subscribers, of course, in time. So get to know some people that are doing it. And do a similar course and attend a couple of events a year. At the moment, the majority of events around this area in digital product creation happen more so in the UK, but we're hoping to change that as well. I have a couple of resources here, like Google Alerts, Feedly I use to subscribe to blogs, and the 3 podcasts that I listen to are Internet Business Mastery, Smart Passive Income, and a guy in the UK, John Colley, and John interviews online course creators every week about their experience in online course creation. So some really, really good, valuable, you would pay a lot of money to go and hear these guys speak. And it's great to go and network, but sometimes when we can't, this is the next best thing. Seminar in a car. And there's some survey products there you may have heard of, and we're going to look at Thinkific. There's also Use Fedora, which I've looked at in detail. It's another learning management system. Thinkific are based out of Montreal. I've spoken to the founders a couple of times at this stage just on, are they going to be around for a while, and if I put all my eggs in your basket, is the basket going to break, and so on and so forth. So they plan to be around for the long haul. Use Fedora has a few quirky little different things as well, but I've decided, at least at this moment in time, to focus on using Thinkific. And of course, Udemy then is the marketplace for putting your course up there and trying to get on front of the market and the audience that they have already. Okay, so all these resources will be in the slides and of course in the online version of this course. So you will need a USB microphone or headset, or both perhaps. I really love this, and that's the link to it there. This little device for listening to stuff in the car. It's also good to meditate and switch off from all of this. We're going to have a meditation lesson now in a few minutes, and there's different software out there for capturing what's going on your screen. So, and Dave and I shared a couple of links on open source software for video editing, and of course we have a few video experts here who can share some insights on some software that we could get up and running with quite cost effectively. But Snagit is one, and Camtasia, same company, TechSmith, they make both of these. They also make a product called Jing for capturing images, and really, really useful. Snagit is, I think, €69 at the moment, and you cannot pan and zoom and stuff like that. Camtasia is 200 plus VAT, I think. It allows you to pan and zoom and do other things. So we're going to look at those. And there's some open source video editors. The video editing part is a key piece. And while we did cover a lot there, and you go, that's a lot to learn, it's a skill I'm going to want to master as well. I think it would be good to have a hand at least on doing at least a minimal little bit of editing of your videos. Your entire course, you might obviously need help with that. Some final words then before we get into the practical. You got to assign time to this. Obviously, it's not going to work if you don't. There isn't instant gratification and payment sometimes for this, so you got to think, I know I'm not getting paid for this right now, but once I get it up and running and online, we can sell it, and we can sell it in high volumes, hopefully. Ideally, you put a system in place that allows you to create your course. What I've had to discipline myself to do now is do nothing when I come in most mornings except make videos. Okay? So, like email, can take over our lives. And a great description I heard of email from, you're going to have to help me again, James, 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss. Yeah, so Tim says that an email is a to-do list based on other people's agenda. So, unless, you can look through who they're from and the subjects and that, but unless they're life-altering, they might need attention for at least a couple of hours. So I just go in and start recording, and then by maybe 12 o'clock, after I do 3 or 4 or 5 videos and put it into a course, that's it. Because it won't happen. That's my system. You might assign a full day on a Friday, whatever it might be. Do reach out and ask for help. You can contact me anytime, but like the telephone company say, fair usage of policy will apply. So, but feel free to reach out. If I can't answer the question, I probably know somebody who can.